A good Thursday afternoon, or morning, actually, it's about 9 o'clock. We are looking at a pretty nice weekend coming up. The weather has been interesting, to say the least, on the West Coast. It's been a little cooler than you might expect. And it kind of continues that way through the weekend, and there's a chance for some changes next week, but even then, you'll see in the forecast models, it's not quite as cut and dry as you think. So fire danger's been minimized. We still have a red flag warning up in the north part of the state. For thunderstorms. We'll go to Mount Shasta live, and we'll look at that cumulus cloud buildup. The moisture starting to build up already. And so the red flag warning is for thunderstorms in that area, so concern for fire. Fire in California, we'll look at watchduty.org, not bad. In Oregon and Washington, there's some fires, but it's not, the air quality is awesome right now. That's kind of the best way to tell how we're doing for fires. Air quality in the east, not awesome. They're getting those Canadian smoke wildfire smoke, particulate over parts of the Great Lakes, and it's bad. It's not good. We'll talk about the extreme heat in the Midwest. Number of days in a row now, and they have been under the gun. Million people, was at one point like over 100 million people. Now it's down to a few million people, but under extreme heat watches and warnings. We'll go to Venice Beach, because I've never been. That's weird. And then we'll go to Myrtle Beach. Never been. I don't know why I'm going to go there, just because it's coaster on left and right sides. Then we'll do all the other stuff in between. This is the low pressure center that has now, if you notice, if you're perceptive, you will have noticed that this low has drifted backwards a little bit and north a little bit. And that has allowed high pressure to come out of here, out of the desert southwest, and allowed a little bit of the Pacific high to show up here. So it's going to be a little warmer. It has been a little warmer in the last couple days. It'll continue that way. But then this low up here, which is spinning this way, the parent low, continues to spin instability underneath this ridge, this in between the ridge, and that weakens it. At least that's the forecast plan. Here's where all the heat is. It's nasty. Here's where all the smoke is. That's nasty. Here's where the red flag warnings are, up here in far northern California. And again, we haven't had any issues. We've had red flag warnings up there for a while, but in an overabundance of caution, which we should be cautious this time of year for fire, the National Weather Service has issued those. So I want to talk a little bit about the earthquake / tsunami. Here's the thing. We live in an earthquake zone, not fear-mongering. This is a fact. The plates move, C4 spreading. New Earth is constantly being created, right? So it has to go somewhere, so it moves the plates around, okay? The plates move at about 2 inches a year. Some of the plates go side by side, transcurrent fault or transform fault. And then some of the earthquake areas subduct, where you get like the Cascadia subduction zone, and you get the Cascades, the Cascade Mountains, volcanoes. The ocean, which is denser than the upper North American plate, dives below, it melts, comes up, and creates volcanoes. That's a subduction zone. And in that subduction zone, we have the biggest earthquakes typically and the bigger tsunamis. And that's where most of these earthquakes are happening. And this is, there's the ring of fire, we talked about it yesterday. So we're in that. Here we go, right? So part of that subduction zone, the Juan de Fuca plate in Northern California, up near the triple point, the Mendocino triple point, where three plates meet, is very active. Okay, we know that. So now let's prepare for it, okay? And what I was going to say was, I feel like that tsunami thing I feel like we don't do a very good job with tsunamis. And I'm probably responsible too. But I was watching the mainstream media, we talked about it yesterday. There's a lot of people impacted by this. When you basically take the whole of the West Coast, and Oregon and Washington and Alaska, all the way to South America, and say, hey, by the way, there's a wave coming. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 1 to 2 feet. Now, we're not sure, by the way. There's a lot of we're not sure. You got to have a better way to communicate to people. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong that we don't know how big the wave is, because I don't think technology is there yet. Needs to get there. But I had so many people reaching out scared. And I don't like it when warnings, watches, and whatever scare people. I think they should warn and advise and warn and advise. Go to, not just go to higher ground. What does that mean? We got to be a little more specific. So in Hawaii was a great example. The North Shore of Hawaii, I have a lot of friends over there. My son lives over there, and people didn't know what to do. They go to higher ground. Well, much of Hawaii, especially on the South Shore, getting to higher ground is, hard to do. So I guess what I'm saying is, I feel like the ball got dropped on this. And the reason I say this is because it's going to keep happening. And we're due for more. And we'll have more. Just like we'll have more droughts and more floods. And, right? It's fire. It's just how it's not just the California. It's the world. It's just this stuff happens. And we have been fortunate not to have a lot of it happening lately. We are having a lot of earthquake stuff happen lately. But I don't know. I'm not a geologist. I studied geology and physical geography. So I know just enough to be dangerous. But I would say, there's a chance of an asteroid or a meteorite hitting the ocean. You're going to have a big wave. People need to know where to go and what to do. That's all I'm saying. And what I found was, if I lived in the avenues of San Francisco, or I didn't see, there was stuff put out officially, but it's kind of vague. Because the tsunami warning is kind of a vague warning, if you know what I mean. I mean, it is and it isn't, but it is, right? And scientists are befuddled by these tsunamis too, right? We haven't seen a ton of them. We get them, but not a ton. And so you don't really know what's in the ocean till it hits Hawaii. That's what we were all doing. Everybody was watching Hawaii, right? So anyway, I don't know. I'm just venting a little bit. I'm wondering if you felt the same way. And I had people reach out to me in the municipality saying, yeah, we did this, we did that, and I know you did. And everybody did their best, but I feel like our best is not good enough in these things, especially if we have a quake on the Cascadia subduction zone, where we're going to have Bay Area and the coastal areas are going to have an hour time, not 7 hours warning, but an hour. And some places up around Mendocino in those areas may have 10 minutes. So I just feel... Again, this isn't my job. My job is weather, but I'm just like, no, that didn't feel good the other day. It was fascinating, but didn't feel good. Okay, thank you for listening to me. I was just telling somebody today, that's half the enjoyment of these weather casts we're doing, is getting to talk to you guys and then asking questions, because there's a whole bunch of you guys that know more than I know about geology, about birds, about bears, right? And you guys just keep feeding me info, man. I'm just like Pac-Man eating it up. I know a lot about weather, and that's what we'll do now. Okay, so there's the low. That's backed off a little. Here's the high. Here's the heat. Here's the smoke. Okay, we did that. Let's take a look at, Mount Shasta. That's what I want to do. Okay, what's going on there? This is that buildup. There's a red flag warning in this zone, and you can see why as soon as the sun comes up. I got new coffee cups. They're awesome. They're bigger, so they hold more. Okay, right away, it's morning. If I'm camping or if I'm going to climb Shasta, I'm like, not today, I'm not. When you see that much moisture at, early this morning, oh man, it's going to be a pretty, watch this. Look at the cap of the mountain, orographic lifting, and it starts to show that cumulus cloud. So if you're smart, you come back to Alert California, pull this camera up, well, not if you're smart, but if you got the time, pull this bad boy up somewhere around 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to be going. And so see that cumulus cloud developing, pretty soon the heat is going to start. The mountain developed that through orographic lifting, but the heat is going to start to do that through convection. Okay, so here we go. Watch duty, see the fires, California's. I can't remember July. It was, I can't remember. Weather memories are short. Orma Grande told me that. It's a climatologist at Berkeley, world famous. He goes, dude, people's weather memories are short. It's probably why I had a long career, right? You guys can't, because we really don't. We kind of think we know. Well, yeah, what was it? What was it like last Friday? Huh? Yeah, was it? Well, right. Your weather memories are very short, typically. That's true. So my weather memory is as short as yours, probably. Some cases maybe shorter. Here's the satellite image. Here are the clouds we were just looking at in the northeast part of the state, right? And you can see it there. And that activity is going to turn explosive here as we go into, Well, into this afternoon. There's the fog along the coast. There's the deeper marine layer, which it did deepen out. You're clearing south down towards Santa Barbara and down towards Los Angeles and soon to be San Diego. Smoke from the fire. Look at all that smoke, right? So a lot of smoke from the Canadian wildfire. This is the Mount Tamcam, looking at the marine layer, which is deeper. It's visibly deeper. Oh. My signal's a little slow today. There we go. Yeah, it's cutting out of me. But anyway, can you see the deeper marine layer? So what's happening today? More of the same. Maybe I think it's going to be a little bit warmer. I think we're seeing more sunshine already. So go to the inversion. And you see a 2,000 foot inversion right here at the marine profiler. And I'll pull this up. And this is about 2,000 feet right here. So this is all in the last few hours. And it's kind of held steady. This was yesterday at the same time, but it's all kind of held steady here. Okay. So we're getting through it. Sorry about the audio yesterday. I was messed up. Hope it's better today. God, my son's not here right now, and he's my IT guy, so I got to learn how to do this on my own base. I mean, I do it on my own, but the camera settings befuddle me. Okay, so here is the forecast for today. That looks nice, right? When you don't see reds, when you see redding at 98, come on. Sacramento at 93, you're like, hell yeah. San Francisco at 67, Los Angeles at 81, and 75 in San Diego. This is today, this is tomorrow. Oh, they don't look different. It's almost the same. So next couple of days. That's, what is that? So today's Thursday, that's Friday. Saturday, Sunday, just put that in there and leave it there. And then Monday, Tuesday, there'll be some chances, for some opportunity for a little bit of change. Here's the model. Here's the parent low. And you're going to see everything spinning kind of around underneath it. And what you see here, see this ridge? That's a big ridge. That wants to form, man. If all this scud wasn't under here, vorticity and instability, this high, the Pacific high, the high out of the southwest, would merge with the Pacific high, and this would all pop up, and this low would back a little bit. Again, what I'm saying is, it would be hot. It would be hot. We'd be in a whole nother deal. And eventually that's going to happen. But right now, that's where we are today. We've got a lot of this instability showing up under the ridge. See it? See it? See it? Still there, still there, still there, still there. Kind of pumps up a little there, but then another little trough comes through. This is Sunday. So steady as she goes, no changes. Steady as she goes, no changes. See this big ball here? That's the Four Corners High trying to build out. Not bad. So that's kind of, next week, it's certainly going to be warmer, but then it keeps tweaking, right? And that would be a hot pattern right there. That's August 9th. August 9th looks like it has a lot of potential. But really what I'm showing you is more of the same. There, I said it. It's so funny, in television when they'd go, okay, Bill, you got 4 minutes for weather. And I'd be like, okay, but I got nothing to talk about. And I always have something to talk about. But it was funny, I just remember, because in television, you got 4 minutes to say the same thing you said last night, but you don't have the ability, like I have here, I can just go on tangents and we could talk about how they build the model or what the grid sizes of the model or the plate tectonics or whatever. But on TV, you're like, okay. And it was like, people would go, somebody they go, like Dennis would always say, hey, dude, you're so stoked, man. It's like, it's the weather, nothing's going on, your job's easy. When nothing's going on, my job was brutal. When stuff was going on, I had radar, I had satellite, I had boots on the ground weather observations. When there's nothing going on, it's like, hey, well, it's a really nice day. Yeah, that's why weather people, you can tell when there's nothing going on. Well, most weather people do this too, but when they start reading the numbers, like, okay, I'm looking at the weather map. Like I did my best never to read anything off a map. You're looking at it, you can see that. I'm supposed to tell you other things that are germane to the weather patterns. But anyway, I kind of went that way a little bit. Okay, so here's this afternoon. This is this afternoon. So there's that activity we're looking up on Mount Shasta. And it looks like it's going to happen. This is a North American? No, GFS. That's granular. Let's go to the NAM, see what that looks like. That's a little more granular. Same idea, reflectivity. Yeah, so it's a little more granular, meaning it just is a little more detailed. it is a little more detailed, smaller grid size. So here we go. And that's right where Mount Shasta is, and that's right where we're looking. And that's where the red flag warning is. So North American model keeps that going and kind of dries it out after that, except for something out of here. Okay, so we'll watch for that. Here's that moisture now we were just tracking. It will turn into thunderstorms. And that's the U.S. This is the watches, warnings, and concerns. And it's busy, man. Like, I got to tell you, this area, again, I'm just like, how are you surviving down there, man? And listen, here's the deal. I grew up in a place where there were lots of trailers. Paradise Pines, Paradise, California. We had a lot of trailers, a lot of retirement people. And people liked it more because we were at elevation. So when Chico would be $110, we'd be 95 or 98. But it'd still get pretty hot. But in these areas, what I'm getting at is trailers get hot as hell. And there's a lot of people that live, it's the way life is. A lot of people live in trailers. It's not bad. Some of the trailers are awesome. You get into some sweet double wides, you got yourself something, man. Plus you can just hook it up to a truck and go. Kidding. But I had a lot of friends that lived in a trailer. My dad lived in a trailer for a little time when he was remodeling. But they're out there. And so when you got extreme heat warnings and you got high humidities and air conditioning that barely works, you're inside of a metal casing. I know they insulate them pretty well, but certainly back in my day, not really. They were just bakey. I used to clean trailers too, just so you know. I had a business called, Mitch Legris, a really good friend of mine in high school, played football together, Paradise High School. Mitch's dad had a business called Scrub-A-Doo. We thought it was clever. We carried a steam cleaner around on the back of a truck, and we were good. And we'd pressure wash these mobile homes and trailers. So we did it because we had a plethora of trailers up in Paradise, and it was awesome money. We'd make like $50 a trailer, and it was always some nice older woman or gentleman, and they retirees, and they'd make us lunch. It was so fun. I met so many nice people, and I saw some really awesome trailers. I know a lot about trailers. I know. Especially the double wides, man. And back then they didn't really have pop outs, but some of the high enders did. Either way, trailers get hot as hell. Air quality here, that's not good. That's that Canadian smoke. And we did talk about that yesterday. I mentioned that some lawmakers in the United States are starting to question what's happening up here with these fires, because you're impacting millions of people with horrid air quality. We'll get to that. Here are the red flag warnings, extreme heat warning here down in Phoenix. So yeah, a little bit. You didn't know that about me, did you? Scrub-A-Doo. I have had more jobs than anybody on the planet Earth. I have had so many jobs when I was a little kid, because I always wanted to work. Okay, so this is the surface map currents. And first of all, this map's awesome. It's National Weather Service product. Your taxpayer dollars pay for this. We're looking at, you can see the watches and warnings, and these little areas represent observations. So if you've got a cousin that lives in Chicago and you want to see what the weather's like, you go in close, you can get more granular, right? And then it loads up more surface plots. So let's go to the south side of Lake Erie and see what's going on. 73 degrees, 50%, 53% relative humidity. The winds are 14 miles an hour. Let's see if they give us any air quality stuff. They don't, but I'll give you some air quality stuff. But you can see it just gets granular. And so you can get granular everywhere in the United States, and probably in many places in the world, using this surface observation map. It's on my page, my links page. And then we're going to go right into the belly of the beast and down towards Greenville, Mid-Delta Regional Airport. 90 degrees. 90 degrees, 75% RH. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. 90 degrees, 75 RH. Columbus Air Force Base. They usually do these observations at airport. They're official readings. They have to do them at airports. That's why you get them. It's awesome. It's actual somebody reading this out and plugging it in and making it happen. 90 degree temperature, 71% relative humidity. Okay, that will mess you up. Wow. 103 in Dallas right now, or today, pardon me. 90 in New Orleans, 95 in Houston, 97 out towards Florida, and it's hot. And then on top of that, you got your smoke. So you can see the smoke models here. And again, the Canadian fires, there's some beef right now, a little beef coming from our governments. And maybe, so I don't know, I haven't looked into it enough. I love controlled burns. I love controlled burns because you're natural. This is what forests do. That makes them healthy again. But you are impacting a lot of people on their summer vacation on Lake Michigan, right here. So I don't know. You can chime in on that if you want. I don't know. This is the air quality map. Trying to do more national weather, which I realize, because again, you know why? We're all the weather's tied together. I'll show you what I mean. So out here, we've had a relative trough. And out here, we've had a relative ridge, and the ridge is where all the heat is. Trough is where it's milder than normal. And then up here, this is just bad air quality. Oh my God, look at that. I mean, that's unhealthy. That's really bad air quality. And I don't know what you do with that. That's just rough. That's just rough. And you're not taking a run today in Milwaukee or Chicago. Yeah, so, really rough. I was going to do something on the fly and go to Chicago live, but I can't figure out I don't want to start messing with the internet now. I mean, in other words, trying to find a live camera. Here are the 6 to 10 day outlooks. It's changed a little bit. Looks like we're going to be a little above average August 5th, and that's not for a few days, August 5th through the 9th. So later on this month, it's going to go August 5th through the 9th, it's going to get warmer, which, yeah, makes sense. We've been below average for sure, or average. And then the precip. I like these maps just because, again, taxpayer dollar pays for it. And it's a good, you go, okay, yeah, all right. I don't know if you're, I like it because it sort of verifies what we looked at on our 500 millibar chart. I like that. It's like, oh yeah, we saw that. We saw that it's going to be above average or below average precipitation. We didn't really look directly at that, but we did see that there wasn't a lot of monsoonal flow. That should turn on though as we go through the next couple weeks. Oh, hello. Okay, this is a place, never been, Venice Beach. Temperature today 77 degrees, 80 degrees in Los Angeles. And Venice, when you grow up in Paradise, California, is like another planet, man. Never been, but you always see the pictures. Cute girls roller skating, people doing nutty stuff, street performers, joggers, a lot of joggers. There's some jogging going on. Yeah, zoom that up. Yeah, Venice Beach. Like, what's that guy carrying? Black cameras are awesome. Because it's just like, I don't know. Look at the guy in that Hawaiian shirt. That Hawaiian shirt's awesome. Look at that Hawaiian shirt. Come on now. I don't even like Hawaiian shirts, and I like that Hawaiian shirt. He's working it. He's working it. Maybe I take the whole weather show on the road and just go down to Venice Beach and like set up a little, a little tent. I wouldn't want any beef with that dude. Let's see one more shot. No, sorry. No, it's self-indulgent now because we did weather, right? I'm feeling good about what we did. Okay. Venice Beach. It is beautiful. It's expensive down there now, though. Okay, Venice Beach. Then we go to Myrtle Beach, other end of the coast. Myrtle Beach, that's a hazy, Myrtle Beach, 92 degrees with humidity that's nasty, gnarly, and then kind of cloudy. That's a muggy looking shot. And Florida gets a lot of heat just because it's a little nutty down there, I guess. I don't know. I've been once on a fly through. I don't know much about it. But to exist in that weather, 90-degree weather with 80%, 75% humidity, and air quality looking less than awesome, even though they're not under an air quality alert. Myrtle Beach. But I do, like I said the other day, I'm not the guy who does this, but the guy who lines up there, look at that, isn't that awesome? I mean, that's like, I know it sounds, I'm not being facetious. I'm like, dude, they brought an umbrella, they bought an ice chest, they brought a boom box, they brought backgammon. I'm not that dude. I'm just not. It drives my family nuts. I'm like, yeah, what'd you bring in? Well, I got some flip-flops and a shirt, and if there's waves, I'm going surfing. And I try not to bring a wetsuit if I can too, because it's just nicer to go without a wetsuit. Myrtle Beach. All right, I don't know what else to say about it. Never been. Okay, surf look. The energy from the south starts to show, but I looked at the models. This is tomorrow. It really, the energy's from the south, but the swell remains fairly small. So it's going to be 2 to 3. It should start to build up as we get towards next week. middle of next week, but that south swell continues to build. And you're like, so this is wave energy, and you see it's all coming from the south because it's their winter. That's a big swell. 18-second interval, 8 foot. That's a big swell. That's interesting. Well, yeah, anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. So it looks like it's going to be flat for a while. Here's Pacifica. It looks like kind of a fun day out there today. I was watching folks earlier. This is Lindemar. The Keatings live over here. They're legends in San Francisco and in Pacifica and in the surfing and swimming world. Dick Keating, I want to get into the Keating family. Just look them up, Keating, but legends. That looks fun, right? Just mellow. Nobody's out. We're looking down on the hill. This is the lunar slope. This is called the boathouse right here. That's what we always called it. And you can surf that. If you get the swell big enough, it gets this cool little wave in there. Yeah, pretty day. Nice, clear. Oh, that's the first thing I should say is you got fog off at Pedro Point here, but the fog kind of just sitting just offshore. And this is interesting. Goes back to the earthquake thing I was talking about. This is out by Pipeline. I was watching this the other night because I was like, I remember I said I was kind of a little irritated at the coverage. And so I'm going to go looking for the tsunami myself because you can tell because the water goes out before the wave comes in. And I literally was sitting here at, 8:30 the other night watching it. The sun was just low in the sky in Hawaii and the whole frickin' reef is exposed. I'm like, here it comes. And I'm flip to the Hawaiian channel and they're like, whoa, don't see anything here. I'm like, pull up the Surfline cameras, which are everywhere, and watch and so the funny thing about that too is I was watching as we look at surf cameras. Mount Shasta. Let's do the last 10 minutes. See if that cumulus cloud's built up more. Yeah, look at that build up. There were kids out. My son's friends were out in Haleiwa Harbor shooting the harbor, raging with foam and standing wave as the river came out and the water came in, and it's like in the meantime you switch to the networks and everybody else and they're like, not much happening in Hawaii. I'm watching it live. I've been watching it live for 35 minutes. So mainstream media is going to have to catch up because that's unacceptable to be that leg behind. Okay, enough of that. South Shore Lake Tahoe. I used to love going up in here, right? Pyramid Peak and up into Echo Lake. And then there's these cool like Aloha Lake. You probably know those areas. But I like it because not a big fan of camping in the dirt. This is a shot of, I'm running out of time. This is a shot of San Diego, down by Monument Peak. This is Jellyfish. This is not a puffin. This is Farallon Islands, not much going on. And then we got the bears and the fish. Okay, the thing's probably going to shut down on me any second. Hope things are good for you today. Hope you got a nice weekend planned. Thanks for hanging in. Appreciate subscribers too. And if you like what we're doing here, just tell a friend. That'd be awesome. Or send a link to a friend because it's fun. It's fun having you guys here. Appreciate it. See you here tomorrow.